Are you approaching the bar exam in a few weeks and realizing that already your body has given out and fallen ill a number of times, and we're still a whole month away? At the time of this recording, probably the last thing you think that you should be doing is spending time watching YouTube videos. But I assure you, if the title of this video appealed to you, this is one you need to watch to the end because I'm going to help you understand why your body seems to be failing you at the moment you need it the most and what to do about it so that you have your best chances at passing the bar exam. Hi, I'm Jennifer Duclair, bar exam mindset mentor and attorney life coach, helping you to beat the bar and build a law life that you are in love with. If you're finding yourself particularly health challenged by bar prep, you are not alone. Every 6 months, I'm speaking to a handful of bar takers who manage to find me through the internet noise, and they're having such issues as getting cold or shutting down physically, having stress-induced flare-ups of autoimmune diseases, and other issues that severely interfere with their ability to study, stick to their schedule, focus, learn, and retain what they just learned. If they don't find me during bar prep, these kinds of individuals who are experiencing physical reactions to the stress of bar prep find me after they failed the bar, which is heartbreaking because it's hard enough to have to retake the bar exam as it is without knowing that you are facing certain torment if you have to undergo another bar prep process. So in this video, I'm going to tell you why this is happening, what you can possibly do about it, and I'll plug in some tips, some resources, and a way to reach me below so that you can choose your path to solving this problem. Let's get to it. First thing you need to know, if you're experiencing physical symptoms, flare-ups, your body's not cooperating with you while you're bar prepping, is that your body is set to be at a homeostasis, right? It has this set point of calm or relative calm that it's supposed to be in. People when bar prepping have a stream of negative or anxious or self-doubting thoughts going through their mind as they go through the actual study process. After they've put the books down and they've gone to bed, instead of sleeping peacefully, they're waking up and these thoughts are continuing to stream. They're not getting a full night's rest, so that compounds the problem. But most importantly, what you may or may not know is that the thoughts that you're thinking are creating a response in your body. If you think thoughts of peace and gratitude and joy, your body calms down. But if you think thoughts of, I'm not getting this, I don't think I'm where I should be, what if I have to do this again? What if I fail? Or what if I fail again? I can't afford to lose this job, etc. These thoughts, your brain is fast forwarding to the worst conceivable end, right? You lose the job that's depending on you passing the bar exam, and your friends reject you because they don't respect you because you're not part of the club anymore. You're not an employed attorney, and then your parents don't want to help you because you've taken this bar too many times, and then your landlord evicts you because you can't pay the rent, and then you're living in your car under a bridge and nobody respects you, and so you'll die alone. Like your brain will automatically fast forward to the worst conceivable end, trying to figure out is it safe or not and what it has to do to protect you. What's happening there is you are ramping up into fight flight mode. And fight flight mode is made for emergencies only, real emergencies, not these products of your imagination. But when you begin the anxious thoughts, you ignite that ramping up response. So the key to stopping the flare-ups and the illness is to not be in fight flight mode 23 hours a day, which is what ends up happening if you have these negative thoughts and these fears and doubts on autopilot, on repeat, without catching them and correcting them. You are constantly putting your body into fight flight mode. That is an emergency state, a high stress state. It's only meant to be used on occasion, but your body is essentially visiting that state every hour on the hour. That's exhausting to the body, and it's breaking down your defenses against the common colds and viruses that might be out there. That's one reason why you might be falling sick repeatedly during the bar prep season. Now, if you already have a pre-existing condition, then and it lends itself to being poked, prodded, flared up because of stress, you already see the direct link between your bar prepping and the flare-ups that you're experiencing. But you may now know that these flare-ups and the stress that's causing it is largely not through the study process itself, but how you're thinking during the study process. So we focus in on the thoughts, which is what I, as a mindset mentor, do. The key here is going to be to observe the thoughts, catch them, correct them. It'll be to get to the root of them and solve them at the root so they don't keep coming back. Because the last thing you want to do as a solution is, as speaking with one bar taker who called in for a mindset tweak, essentially, and her response to the ramping up that happens in her body when she thinks these thoughts was to go running. Well, you can only do so much of that and still have enough time to study, right? And running is a great way to expend the anxious energy that has built up because of your stress thoughts. But how about not building up that anxious energy to begin with? And then you don't have to spend half of your day treating the consequences of the issue, just deal with the issue itself. And that brings us to what you can do about these factors that are putting you in constant fight flight mode, upregulated nervous system mode, what you can do about those thoughts so that you don't even get there. And definitely so that you don't get there and have to keep spending half of your day and half of your energy holding the stress at bay while the other half is trying to study. You're only giving 50% to your studying. So catching it at its root will alleviate both of those issues, right? So first and foremost, I recommend getting ahead of it. Essentially, it's like, you want to eat healthier, but you really love your junk foods. The smart dietitian in my world would instruct me not to focus on cutting out the junk foods, but instead crowd them out by filling my plate and my belly with healthy, nutritious, water-based, and nutrition-dense food, and still having the junk. And invariably, what happens is that physically I'm full, I'm satisfied, I feel good, and I have less room and less desire for the junk. Same end, but the path to that end was so much more delightful. So instead of saying to yourself, I shouldn't think negatively, I have to think positively, rewind and start from the beginning. First thing in the morning, put on a gratitude affirmation tape. YouTube is full of these positive things. Put on a visualization that helps you to feel good and light and complete, or safe and secure and stable or protected. Like, find the affirmations, the visualization, the meditation that helps you do that. There's a lot of science behind listening to these kinds of things on repeat, like every day for 30 days, and the rewiring of your brain to get used to light, positive, and happy thoughts versus the anxious thoughts that you've been repeating for the last 30 days. So you can actually crowd out the old habit with a new habit. And you just have to make it something like, when I hit stop on my alarm, I scroll to this favorite meditation and hit play, to make sure that you start your day off that way every time. I also recommend falling asleep that way. Maybe you choose another meditation that will reinforce another positive thing that you want to claim for yourself, and you play that every night as you go to sleep. Either way, allowing your brain to sort of marinate in these wonderful thoughts and the feelings that come with it will help to not even combat, but prevent, crowd out the nervous and anxious energy. The more repeatedly you do this, the more the effects build up. It's a cumulative effect sort of thing. That's one thing to do. I recommend visualizations that are bar exam specific and affirmations that are bar exam specific. And I have a few. So I will link them below so that you can grab them. And my affirmations, it's a simple tape. It's meant for the speaking of the affirmations to be a little bit below audible level so that you're not triggered by something that feels not true to you at the moment. And I've also carefully framed it so that it doesn't trigger resistance in the brain. There's a science behind how to craft your affirmations. So I highly advise you don't just grab them from anywhere. But I will link below how you can get the bar exam affirmations and also where you can find some recorded visualizations and meditations that I have that are bar exam specific that you can use to move yourself through on a repeated basis, exercising your mind to grab onto positive thoughts and feelings about yourself and your abilities and maybe even the bar exam and let go of the negative ones. So that's one. Two, I highly recommend you find out what your deepest motivators are with regards to life activities and bring that into your bar exam. So there's 4 categories. And if you want to know your type, your study personality type, I have a quiz that you can visit below to take that and find out what your your motivator is. But one person I was speaking to on Zoom, her motivator turned out to be community. And little tweaks and tricks helped her to feel more grounded and stable emotionally, which made huge differences for her in bar prep. So instead of isolating, because she's a community-driven person, she learned to do such things like, well, let me go to the library and sit in a group amongst people who are also studying. We're not talking or wasting time, but it just feels less lonely when we're all here for the same reason. Little tweaks like that. But knowing what your motivator is makes the difference in how you tweak your day and your approach in order to feel more supported and stable and secure during the bar prep process. And those feelings of stability, support, security, this is what is the opposite of fear and anxiety, right? You may not feel confident, but you can get to feeling stable and secure. Okay. The last thing I'll give you when it comes to building up that stability and security feeling is to go ahead and dump your fears on paper. Every single thing that you fear. And I tell my clients, just head off a list with I fear, and then write one line each for your fears. I fear I won't remember the things that I studied all month. I fear I will blank on the exam. I fear my parents will be deeply disappointed in me. I fear, I fear, just dump it all on paper. Because at the very least, getting it out of your head keeps it from doing that and running around on a tape. Because your brain is trying to keep those fears top of mind, hoping that at some point you solve for them. But you don't have time to solve for them right now. You're studying for the bar. Most of those fears are fictional anyway. And sometimes putting them on paper gives you that great relief of being able to separate what's fictional from what's an actual thing that I should do about. And then those actual things that you should do something about, they're now on paper and you can maybe think about doing something about them. So it alleviates some of that pressure and some of that head noise that causes the ramping up, which puts your body in fight flight mode, stressing out your defenses and allowing you to become ill during bar prep. The last thing you want is your body shutting down on you right before the exam. So look below for resources. They're always there for you. And look out for the next video coming along because we are now in the middle of June. The bar exam is a few weeks away, and I will be putting out more content like this to help alert you to what might be going on with yourself, your mind, your body, and what you can do about it so that you can stay on track and do well for your bar exam. See you in the next video.